I am a sick man. I am a bad man. I am a disagreeable man. These are the opening words of one of the most unsettling characters ever created in literature. A man who chose the underground. A man who preferred conscience to comfort, and who paid the ultimate price for it, his own sanity. Today we're going to delve into the mind of someone who went mad. Not from trauma, not from genetic madness, but from overthinking. Chapter 1. The man who lived under the world, St. Petersburg, mid-19th century. A city of brutal contrasts. Imperial palaces on one side, frozen slums on the other. And somewhere in the middle of it all, in a dirty, cramped apartment he himself calls the basement, lives a 40-year-old man who hates himself as much as he hates the world. He has no name. Dostoevsky doesn't give us a name because this man is not an individual. He is a symptom, a warning, a prophecy of what happens when human consciousness turns against itself. This man spent the last 20 years as an insignificant civil servant, stamping papers, obeying orders, swallowing humiliations, and all the while something was growing inside him. It wasn't anger, it wasn't just resentment. It was something much worse. It was consciousness. Chapter 2. The Curse of Overthinking. Let's understand one thing right away. This underground man isn't crazy in the traditional sense. He doesn't hear voices. He doesn't have hallucinations. He hasn't lost touch with reality. His problem is the opposite. He is too much in touch with reality. He explains it in a disturbing way. I swear to you, gentlemen, that overthinking is a disease, a real and complete disease. And here is the first great philosophical idea that Dostoevsky is throwing in our faces. Excessive awareness paralyzes. Think about it. Have you ever been stuck on a simple decision? Like choosing what to eat, what clothes to wear, what message to send. And the more you think about it, the more complex it becomes until you simply do nothing. Now multiply that by 1,000, by 10,000. The underground man is trapped in an endless loop of self-awareness. He cannot act because he analyzes every action until he destroys it. He cannot feel because he questions every feeling until he dissects it. He recounts a specific moment. Someone offended him. A public humiliation. And he spent years planning revenge. Years. Going over scenarios in his head. Imagining perfect speeches. Visualizing the enemy's defeat. But when did he finally have the chance to act? Nothing. He froze. Because at the moment of action, his mind exploded with 1,000 questions. Is this really the best way? What if I look ridiculous? What if this means nothing in the end? What is the primary cause of my anger? Is this revenge genuine or just my ego? And while the men of action, the stupid ones as he calls them, simply act without thinking, he gets trapped in the underground of his own mind. Chapter 3. The War Against the Crystal Palace. But the underground man isn't just dwelling on his own failures. He has a much bigger enemy, a philosophical enemy. In 1851, a gigantic pavilion made of glass and iron was built in London, the Crystal Palace. It was the marvel of its time, the ultimate symbol of human progress, of science, of triumphant reason. And in Russia, intellectuals like Chernyshevsky were using this image to preach a utopian future. A world where reason and science would solve all human problems. A perfectly organized world, predictable, harmonious. A world where 2 + 2 would always equal 4. And the underground man, he hates it with every fiber of his being. He says, and I'll paraphrase because it's dense, "Tell me, what can man do when confronted with the stone wall of natural laws? When it's mathematically proven that you're descended from an ape, that everything is self-interest and logic? What do we do? Do we accept it? Do we bow down?" And then he drops the bomb. What if I don't want 2 + 2 to equal 4? What if I prefer 2 + 2 to equal 5? Not because it makes sense, not because it's logical, but simply because I want to. What he's saying here is revolutionary and terrifying at the same time. Dostoevsky is attacking the foundation of Enlightenment thought. He is saying, do you think that human beings are rational? That they act out of self-interest? That they seek happiness and well-being? Lie. Human beings are contradictory, irrational, self-destructive, and the most precious thing we have is not happiness, it's freedom. The freedom to choose suffering, the freedom to go against our own interests, the freedom to be absurd, chaotic, contradictory, because if everything is determined by reason and science, then we are not human. We are merely piano keys, cogs in a machine, predictable, controllable. And the man from the underground would rather throw himself into the abyss than accept that. Chapter 4. The Poison of Resentment. But there is a cost to living like this, a brutal cost. The underground man is not a philosophical hero. He is not a romantic rebel fighting for freedom. He is miserable. He hates himself. He hates others. He hates everything. And here enters another central philosophical concept of the work, resentment. Nietzsche would develop this further decades later, but Dostoevsky was already demonstrating it in practice. Resentment is the poison you drink, hoping the other person will die. The underground man is corroded from within. He sees normal people living their lives, working, relating, being happy in a stupid and thoughtless way, and he despises them. But at the same time, he desperately envies them. He wants to be like them. He wants to simply live without self-destructing with his thoughts, but he can't. And the more he tries, the more he fails. And the more he fails, the more he hates himself. And the more he hates himself, the more he isolates himself. It's a vicious cycle that he created himself. And he knows it. This is the cruelest part. He is fully aware of his own self-destruction. He sees the trap, he sees every cog in the machine. But he can't escape, because escaping would require him to stop thinking, and he can't stop. Chapter 5. The Memories That Never Heal. In the second part of the book, Dostoevsky shows us where all this came from. It takes us back 20 years in time, when the underground man was in his early 20s, when there was still a spark of hope, when he was still trying to connect with the world, and then he shows us 3 episodes, 3 memories that he never managed to overcome. First episode, a reunion with former schoolmates. He wasn't invited to a reunion dinner, but he shows up anyway. He insists on participating. The others clearly don't want him there, but he forces himself to stay. Throughout the night, he alternates between 2 extremes, sometimes feeling intellectually superior to everyone there, despising their banal conversations, other times feeling inferior, humiliated, invisible. In the end, they all go to a brothel, and he follows them, not because you want him to, but because you can't stand being alone with your thoughts. Second episode, he meets Liza at the brothel, a young prostitute, and here, something interesting and disturbing happens. For the first time in the book, the underground man attempts to truly connect with someone. He talks to Liza. He speaks about how she's wasting her life. He paints a bleak future for her. He delivers a passionate speech about dignity and redemption, and Liza believes him. She gets emotional. She sees in him someone who cares. He even gives her his address. He says she can look him up. And then when he is alone, he realizes the horror of what he has done. He didn't say those things because he cared. He spoke to feel superior, to have power over someone, to feed his own ego. And now she can actually show up at his house, see how he lives, see who he really is. The thought terrifies him. Chapter 6. The Destruction of the Only Real Connection. And of course, Liza appears. Days later, she knocks on the basement door. Literally. She goes down to the dirty, miserable hole where he lives, and she doesn't come angry. She doesn't come to demand anything. She comes with hope. She believed him. She saw something good in him, and she came seeking help. And the man from the underground completely panics, because now she sees everything, the filth, the poverty, the existential misery. The whole mask has fallen, and he can't stand it. So he does the only thing his twisted mind is capable of at that moment. He destroys it. He turns all his guns on her. He yells, he humiliates her. He exposes all her vulnerabilities. He says she's nothing but a prostitute, that he never cared, that it was all a power game. Liza remains silent, absorbing each word like a stab wound. And then she does something that completely breaks him. She doesn't fight back. She doesn't yell back. She hugs him. She notices She sees. She understands that he is self-destructing, that all that anger is directed at himself. And yet, even as a victim of his, she offers compassion. And that's unbearable for him, because he can't process genuine kindness. He can't accept that someone could see him completely and still not despise him. Then he commits the final act of self-sabotage. He puts money in her hand. It transforms the only moment of real human connection in your life into a transaction. It reduces everything to prostitute and client. Liza picks up the money, drops it on the floor and walks away, and he never sees her again. Chapter 7. The underground is a choice. After Liza leaves, the man from the basement runs after her. He goes down the stairs. You go to the street, but stop, because he realizes something. Even if he caught up with her, what would he say? How would he undo all of this? He can't. Then he goes back underground, and it stays there for 20 years, up to the moment when he is writing these memoirs. And here is the most philosophical and somber part of the entire work. The underground isn't a prison, it's a choice. He chooses to stay there. He chooses hyperconsciousness. He chooses suffering. He chooses solitude, not because he's forced to, but because the alternative, living normally, accepting contradictions, acting without overthinking, is impossible for him. Dostoevsky is revealing something profound about the human condition. Some people can't switch off their minds. They can't stop questioning. They can't accept simple answers to complex questions. And these people pay a price. They see more, they understand more. They penetrate deeper into the nature of things. But this vision paralyzes them. This understanding destroys them. It's as if conscience itself were a curse disguised as a gift. But there's something even more disturbing about all of this. Dostoevsky wrote this book in 1864, more than 160 years ago. And he was predicting something. He was seeing the future. Because everything the underground man criticizes, extreme rationalism, blind faith in science, the idea that we can optimize human beings, that we can create perfect systems that eliminate chaos and contradiction, that hasn't disappeared. It got worse. Today we live in the age of algorithms, of maximum productivity, of happiness metrics, of optimizing every aspect of life. 2 + 2 must equal 4. What if you don't fit in? What if you question things? What if you feel there's something profoundly wrong with reducing human existence to data and statistics? Welcome to the modern underground, but now it has another name: existential anxiety. Depression, burnout, disconnection. The symptoms have changed names, but the disease is the same. The disease of overthinking in a world that demands you simply function. So, what do we take away from all this? Notes from Underground is not a self-help book. It doesn't contain motivational lessons. It doesn't tell you how to be happy or successful. Actually, it's the opposite. This is a warning. Dostoevsky is saying, beware of excessive awareness. Beware of the obsessive quest to understand everything. Beware of the total rejection of the irrational and the contradictory. Because deep down, say, we are irrational and contradictory, and trying to deny that, trying to be perfectly logical and rational all the time, trying to fit human experience into a formula, it's the way to the underground. The underground man is not a villain. He is not a madman. He is a mirror, an uncomfortable mirror that reflects the parts of ourselves we'd rather not see, the part that sabotages itself, the part that prefers family suffering to the risk of change, the part that destroys real connections out of fear of vulnerability, the part that overthinks and underacts. Dostoevsky doesn't give us a solution, because maybe there isn't one. Perhaps the underground is simply part of the human condition, an ever-present possibility, an abyss that is always there, waiting, and the only thing we can do is be aware of it, without letting ourselves be consumed. If you've made it this far, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow, and if you enjoyed this darker philosophical analysis, I invite you to watch this other video that's appearing on your screen now. It's about another disturbing and necessary topic. Thank you so much for your attention so far. See you in the next video.